The heavy oak doors of the Grand Cathedral in downtown Manhattan burst open with a bang that echoed through the vaulted ceilings. A small boy in a perfectly fitted miniature tuxedo, no more than 6 years old, sprinted down the long aisle toward the altar where Ellis stood frozen in his tailored black suit beside his bride-to-be Sarah. "Daddy, you can't say yes. Papa Mason is waiting outside and he said our family is you, me, and him forever." The boy's clear, innocent voice rang out, freezing every guest in their seats. Gasps rippled through the crowd like a wave as the priest's hand hovered in midair. Ellis's face drained of color, his eyes locking onto his son Liam. Mason, who had been standing discreetly in the back pews as the supposed best man, stepped forward, his expression a mix of pain and hope. In that single moment, years of hidden love, struggles, and sacrifices between two men were laid bare in front of family, friends, and society. The wedding that was supposed to fix everything had just shattered the illusion. Sarah's veil trembled as she turned, her eyes filling with confusion and betrayal. "Ellis, what is he talking about?" she whispered, her voice breaking the stunned silence that followed. Ellis knelt quickly, pulling Liam into his arms, but the damage was done. Whispers turned to murmurs, then to outright outrage from the front rows where Ellis's conservative parents sat rigid, their faces pale with shock. Mason's own mother clutched her pearls, her Texas roots making the revelation hit like a thunderclap in this upscale New York setting. The priest cleared his throat awkwardly, but no one moved. Liam clung to Ellis's leg, his small hands trembling now that he sensed the tension. "I heard you and Uncle Mason talking last night, Daddy. You said you love him more than anything and that Sarah doesn't make you happy like he does." The words hung heavy, each one a dagger into the carefully built facade Ellis had maintained for years to keep his family happy and his career as an architect stable. Guests shifted uncomfortably in their pews, some pulling out phones to record the unfolding drama, others averting their eyes in embarrassment. Sarah dropped her bouquet, the white roses scattering across the marble floor like fallen hopes. She backed away from the altar, tears streaming down her face, her perfect day ruined in seconds. Ellis stood slowly, his heart pounding, knowing that this child's honest outburst had forced the truth into the light after 7 years of secrecy. Mason moved closer, his hand reaching out instinctively before pulling back, aware that every eye was now on them. The two men exchanged a glance full of unspoken history, the late nights in their shared Brooklyn apartment, the quiet promises made under the city lights, the sacrifices they had both endured to protect Liam from the world's judgment. Ellis's father rose from his seat, his voice booming across the cathedral. "This is a disgrace. How could you do this to your family, Ellis?" The words cut deep, stirring the old fears that had kept Ellis in denial for so long. Mason's jaw tightened, his own past flooding back in waves. The strict upbringing that taught him love between men was wrong. The years he spent trying to bury his feelings while watching Ellis date women to please everyone else. Liam looked up at both of them, innocent and confused. "Are we going home now, Papa Mason?" The question broke something inside Ellis. He scooped his son up, turning to Sarah with genuine regret in his eyes. "I'm so sorry. This isn't how I wanted it to happen." Sarah shook her head, her voice barely audible. "All this time, you were never really mine." The ceremony dissolved into chaos as guests filed out, some offering pitying looks, others whispering accusations. Ellis and Mason slipped away with Liam through a side door, the weight of the revelation settling on their shoulders like a storm cloud over the bright Manhattan day. Back in their apartment later that evening, the three of them sat together on the couch, the city lights twinkling outside the window. Liam fell asleep between them, oblivious to the earthquake he had caused. Ellis stared at Mason, his voice soft but laced with years of pent-up emotion. "We can't hide anymore. Not after this." Mason nodded, his hand finding Ellis's in the dim light, the first real touch in public view that felt both terrifying and freeing. The road ahead was uncertain. Custody battles, family estrangement, societal stares. But in that quiet moment, The foundation of their love felt stronger than ever. Ellis reflected on how it all started back at NYU, where two young men from different worlds had collided in a freshman orientation, their friendship blooming into something deeper during rainy afternoons in the library. Mason had always been the cautious one, afraid of losing his family's approval, while Ellis pushed for honesty until pressure from his own parents forced him into the sham engagement with Sarah. Now, with Liam's words echoing, the masks were gone, and the real journey of acceptance was just beginning. The days following the wedding interruption blurred into a haze of phone calls, legal consultations, and sleepless nights for Ellis and Mason. Sarah's family demanded explanations through lawyers, their conservative circles in Connecticut amplifying the scandal across social media. Ellis's parents refused to speak to him, his mother leaving a voicemail that cut like glass. "We raised you better than this, to throw away everything for that." The silence from his father hurt even more, the man who had always pushed Ellis toward the right path. Stable marriage, children, normalcy in their Upper East Side world. Mason bore his own burden, his Texas relatives flying in to confront him at a neutral cafe, their voices low but laced with disappointment. "You've always been weak, son," his father said, eyes avoiding Mason's. "This isn't who we are." Liam stayed glued to both men, his questions innocent yet piercing. "Why is everyone mad that you love each other?" It forced Ellis to confront the internal storm he had ignored for too long. The guilt of nearly marrying Sarah to bury his truth. The fear that coming out fully would cost him his son or his career. Mason, ever the steady one, cooked simple meals in their kitchen, his hands steady even as his mind raced. "We built this family for a reason," he reminded Ellis one evening, their fingers brushing over coffee mugs. "Liam needs us whole." Flashbacks haunted Ellis as he lay awake. Their first kiss on a rooftop in Greenwich Village during junior year, the world feeling vast and possible under the stars. Mason had pulled away then, whispering, "My folks would never understand." But Ellis had held on, promising patience. Years later, after Mason's brief disastrous marriage that produced no children, they reconnected when Ellis proposed the idea of surrogacy for Liam. It had been their secret joy, the three of them forming a quiet unit in Brooklyn, while Ellis dated Sarah publicly to appease his parents. The pressure mounted when his firm hinted at promotions tied to family image, pushing him toward the altar. Now, with the truth out, Ellis faced a crossroads at work, colleagues offering awkward sympathies while clients whispered. He took a leave, focusing on Liam's school runs and therapy sessions to help the boy process the sudden change. Mason quit his marketing job to be present. Their savings stretched thin, but their bond deepening through shared tears and late talks about identity. "I spent years hating myself for loving you," Mason admitted one rainy afternoon in Central Park, Liam playing nearby. "But seeing you almost walk away, it woke me up." Ellis squeezed his hand, the public touch still new and electric. Family tensions escalated when Mason's sister arrived unannounced, offering tentative support but warning of legal fights over Liam's custody if Ellis's parents pushed for stability. The men attended a support group for gay fathers in Manhattan, listening to stories that mirrored their own. Lost jobs, estranged relatives, but also rebuilt lives filled with authentic joy. Ellis began journaling his feelings, pages filled with the relief of no longer pretending and the terror of what lay ahead. Mason encouraged him, his own growth showing in small ways, calling his mother back without flinching, admitting the years of shame had stolen his peace. Liam's innocent smile became their anchor, his drawings of two daddies and me, taped to the fridge like proof of their rightness. Yet conflicts arose internally, Ellis's doubts creeping in during quiet moments, wondering if the pain inflicted on Sarah and both families was worth it. Mason sensed it, pulling him close. "We chose love once. We choose it again every day." The rising stakes built as court dates loomed for the divorce and custody, forcing decisions that tested their resilience. Ellis's boss offered a transfer to their Los Angeles office, a fresh start away from New York scrutiny. Mason hesitated, his roots deep, but saw the opportunity for Liam's future free of whispers. They packed boxes together, the move symbolizing more than miles. It was a step toward the life they had whispered about in secret. Through it all, the emotional growth unfolded slowly. Ellis learning to voice his needs without guilt. Mason shedding the weight of parental expectations. Their love, once hidden in shadows, now stood in the California sun they headed toward, stronger for the storm it had survived. Settling into their new Los Angeles home felt like breathing fresh air after years underwater. The beachside apartment in Santa Monica overlooked the Pacific, waves crashing as a constant reminder that life moved forward despite the wreckage left behind. Ellis threw himself into the new architecture projects, his designs bolder now that he no longer hid parts of himself. Mason found work at a local nonprofit helping LGBTQ youth, his past struggles fueling a passion he had suppressed. Liam thrived in his new school, making friends who accepted two dads without question, his laughter filling the spaces where doubt once lingered. Yet the past followed them in emails and calls. Sarah signing the divorce papers with a note wishing them well, her own healing journey beginning far away. Ellis's parents sent a single letter demanding visitation rights for Liam, their words laced with conditions. No public displays. Mason's family remained silent, a void that ached during holidays when Liam asked about grandparents. The men navigated these pressures with honest conversations at dinner, Liam between them drawing pictures of family picnics. "We don't hide anymore," Ellis told Mason one evening on their balcony, the ocean breeze carrying away old fears. Their intimacy grew deeper in the quiet moments. Walks on the sand, shared coffees at sunrise, each touch a reaffirmation of choice over conformity. Internal crises surfaced for Ellis during a work conference when a colleague made a casual homophobic joke. He spoke up, his voice steady, surprising even himself. The confrontation sparked a promotion but also isolation from old networks, forcing him to evaluate what success truly meant. Mason faced his own test when his sister visited, bringing news of their father's illness. "He wants to see you," she said, eyes pleading. Mason agonized for days, pacing the living room while Ellis listened. "Going back means facing everything I ran from," he confessed, tears rare but raw. Ellis held him, reminding of their shared growth. The college nights where Mason first admitted his feelings, terrified yet alive. They decided together. A trip to Texas, Liam in tow, to confront the roots of their pain. The visit was tense, Mason's father frail in his hospital bed, his words halting. "I was wrong to push you away." It wasn't full acceptance, but a crack in the wall, allowing Mason to release years of resentment. Back in LA, the relief fueled new decisions, enrolling Liam in a family counseling program, planning a small commitment ceremony with close friends. Ellis's internal voice, once filled with self-doubt, now echoed with pride in their family unit. Conflicts peaked when Ellis's New York parents sued for grandparent rights, dragging them into court and stirring old wounds. Mason stood by him through depositions, his support unwavering. "We've sacrificed enough," he said after one grueling day. The judge ruled in their favor, citing the stable home, but the process tested their bond. Through it, Ellis realized his growth. From the man who nearly married to hide, to one who fought openly for love. Mason evolved too, from fearful son to proud partner and father. Liam's innocent questions evolved into understanding hugs, bridging gaps neither man could alone. As months passed, the emotional layers peeled back. Ellis journaling less about regret, more about gratitude. Mason volunteering more, inspiring others with their story. The rising tension of external judgment softened into quiet strength. Their love the steady anchor in America's diverse landscape. Small joys accumulated. Beach days where Liam built sandcastles with both dads. Evenings cooking together. Laughter replacing the silence of secrets. Yet they knew challenges remained. School bullies testing Liam's resilience. Workplace biases for Ellis. But facing them together marked true maturity. The journey from that cathedral aisle had forged them into men who chose authenticity over ease. Their hearts aligned in ways denial never allowed. Life in Santa Monica settled into a rhythm that felt earned after the turbulence. Ellis's architecture firm flourished with projects that reflected his true self, modern homes with open spaces symbolizing transparency. Mason expanded his nonprofit work, mentoring young men grappling with the same identity questions he once buried deep in Texas soil. Liam, now 7, brought homeschool drawings labeled, "My Two Dads," his confidence blooming like the California flowers in their yard. Yet new layers of conflict emerged when Ellis received an invitation to his brother's wedding back in New York. "They want us there," he told Mason over breakfast, Liam coloring nearby. The invitation carried unspoken tests. Would they attend as a family or hide to keep peace? Mason hesitated, memories of past family dinners flooding back, the forced smiles, the careful distances. Ellis felt the pull of old obligations, his brother's voice on the phone laced with tentative support but clear discomfort. "It's your choice," Mason said, but his eyes showed the fear of regression. They decided to go, Liam excited for the trip, turning it into a chance for growth. The New York visit tested everything. At the rehearsal dinner, Ellis's parents greeted them stiffly, their hugs brief. Whispers followed them through the venue, old friends averting eyes or offering awkward congratulations. Mason held Ellis's hand publicly for the first time in that circle, the act small but monumental after years of caution. Liam sensed the tension, asking during a quiet moment, "Why do they look sad when we hug?" Ellis knelt, explaining simply, "Some people need time to understand different kinds of love." The ceremony itself brought high emotion, Ellis standing as best man while Mason and Liam watched from the front row. During the reception, a cousin pulled Ellis aside, his words sharp, "You broke Mom and Dad's hearts." The confrontation stirred Ellis's inner doubts, flashbacks to college where he first questioned his path, Mason's gentle persistence winning him over despite the risks. Mason found him later on the hotel balcony, offering silent comfort that spoke volumes. "We're not going back," he whispered. The trip ended with a small breakthrough, Ellis's mother pulling Liam aside for a genuine conversation, her walls softening slightly. Back home, the experience fueled deeper talks between Ellis and Mason about forgiveness without forgetting. Mason confronted his own lingering shame through therapy, unpacking the religious teachings that once made him feel broken. Ellis supported him, their evenings filled with stories of early days, late-night drives along the Hudson, promises made in whispers. External pressures mounted again when Mason's nonprofit faced funding cuts due to conservative donors citing family values. He fought back with presentations highlighting real stories, including theirs, turning personal pain into advocacy. Ellis balanced work with fatherhood, Liam's soccer games becoming rituals of unity. A misunderstanding arose when Ellis's ex-colleagues spread rumors online, forcing a public statement that tested their privacy. Mason's calm response, "Our love isn't news, it's our life," reinforced their bond. Liam's innocent wisdom shone through, "If they don't like us, that's their problem." The words echoed the original wedding revelation, closing a circle. Growth manifested in small victories. Ellis turning down a high-paying job that required relocation away from Mason and Liam, prioritizing family over ambition. Mason accepted a board position, his voice stronger in rooms once closed to him. Their commitment ceremony approached, simple and heartfelt with beach vows under the sunset, friends witnessing the union built on truth. Conflicts resolved through choice. Ellis releasing guilt over Sarah's pain, Mason embracing his identity fully. The emotional arc peaked in quiet reflections. Two men who had navigated denial, betrayal by silence, and societal storms now standing unapologetic. Liam's presence reminded them daily of the stakes and rewards, his happiness the ultimate proof their sacrifices mattered. As seasons changed, the foundation solidified, love no longer a secret, but a beacon guiding their shared path forward. The commitment ceremony on Santa Monica Beach marked a turning point. Simple vows exchanged under a canopy of string lights as waves provided the soundtrack. Ellis spoke first, his voice steady, Mason, you taught me that love isn't about fitting in. It's about standing together no matter what. Mason's response carried years of emotion. You showed me I could be myself without losing who I am. Liam, ring bearer in a tiny suit reminiscent of that fateful day, beamed as he handed over the bands. Close friends cheered, the absence of extended family noted but not dwelled upon. Post-ceremony life brought fresh challenges. Adopting Liam officially as a couple required navigating paperwork and hearings that dredged up old court battles. Ellis's parents attended one virtually, their silence speaking volumes, but a surprise call from Mason's father offered cautious congratulations. "Proud of the man you've become," he said gruffly, cracking the door to reconciliation. Mason wept afterward, Ellis holding him through the release of long-held tension. Internal growth continued as Ellis volunteered at Mason's nonprofit, sharing his story with groups of young gay men. "Hiding almost cost me everything," he told them, the words healing his own scars. Mason balanced advocacy with fatherhood, teaching Liam about kindness amid difference. A major test arrived when Liam faced bullying at school over his family. The principals' meeting stirred protective instincts in both men, Ellis advocating fiercely, Mason emphasizing education over anger. They turned the incident into family discussions, Liam emerging stronger, his questions evolving into pride. "I'm lucky to have two dads who love each other." Societal pressures lingered in subtle ways, stares at grocery stores, cautious colleagues, but the men faced them united, their bond forged in fire. Ellis reflected during a quiet hike in the hills, flashbacks to their NYU days where fear nearly ended them before they began. Mason's patience then mirrored his support now. A career opportunity for Ellis in San Francisco tempted them with proximity to his parents, prompting honest debates. "We move for us, not them," Mason insisted, leading to a decision to stay rooted in LA. The choice symbolized maturity, prioritizing their created family over external validation. Emotional highs mixed with lows when Sarah reached out, sharing her new life and forgiving the past. "Seeing Liam happy means everything," she wrote, lifting a weight from Ellis's shoulders. Mason supported the closure, their relationship deepening through vulnerability. Liam's 8th birthday party became a celebration of resilience, friends from both men's worlds mingling without pretense. Conflicts arose internally when Mason grappled with lingering family guilt during a Texas trip for his father's recovery. Ellis accompanied him, the visit revealing progress. Hugs exchanged, stories shared. Back home, the experience inspired Mason to write a blog post about their journey, touching thousands and sparking dialogue on gay fatherhood. Ellis's pride in him grew, their evenings filled with planning future adventures, family vacations, perhaps expanding their home. The rising action of life built steadily. Professional successes, personal milestones, and Liam's milestones like his first soccer goal scored with both dads cheering. Doubts faded as trust solidified, each man recognizing the other's sacrifices. The years Mason waited patiently, Ellis risking everything for truth. Their love, once a hidden flame, now illuminated daily life, proving authenticity bred genuine peace. Through misunderstandings resolved with communication and external judgments met with grace, they emerged transformed. The journey from that shocking wedding moment had led to this. 2 men, 1 boy, a family whole and unashamed. Years blended into a tapestry of shared routines that felt both ordinary and extraordinary. Ellis and Mason watched Liam grow into a confident 10-year-old, his school projects often featuring their family story with innocent pride. The move to a larger home in the hills allowed space for growth, home office for Ellis's thriving firm, garden for Mason's community events. Extended family ties mended slowly. Ellis's parents visited for holidays, their interactions warming from stiff to genuine, while Mason's father sent cards acknowledging progress. Conflicts still surfaced, like a neighborhood petition against their alternative family that tested community bonds. But the men responded with dialogue sessions, turning opposition into understanding. Ellis's internal awakening peaked during a solo reflection hike. realizing how the wedding crash had saved him from a lifetime of regret. Mason's parallel journey showed in his leadership roles, mentoring others while cherishing quiet nights with Ellis. Liam bridged worlds effortlessly, his questions now thoughtful. Did it hurt when people didn't understand? The answers strengthened their trio. A family trip to New York revisited the cathedral, now a site of closure rather than pain. Liam running the aisle playfully, echoing the past without its sting. Back in LA, they celebrated anniversaries with beach bonfires, stories retold of college sparks and secret promises. Professional peaks arrived, Ellis designing inclusive community centers, Mason expanding his nonprofit nationwide. Yet personal trials persisted. Ellis facing a health scare that reminded them of life's fragility, Mason's unwavering care deepening their commitment. Liam's support, drawing pictures of forever dads, anchored them through recovery. The emotional climax built as they reflected on sacrifices, lost relationships, career risks, family rifts, but each choice led to this authentic happiness. Mason admitted one starry night, "Your courage gave me mine," Ellis replied, holding him close. "Our love made it all worth it." Together, they watched Liam sleep, the boy whose words ignited everything now thriving in the light they created. Their story proved that truth, though painful at first, paved the way for real connection. As the sun set over another California day, Ellis and Mason stood on their deck, hands linked, the ocean whispering possibilities. The journey of two men loving each other through America's complexities had forged not just survival, but profound fulfillment. True or false? A child's innocent words can ultimately lead to greater happiness for everyone involved in a family secret.